Hey, you guys, it is Sherry with Storytimes from my bedroom with another story for you. Y'all, let me tell you something. So, before we get started here, you guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thank you to all those new subscribers. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the stories. Well, the story. It'll be stories though. And also, like the video, comment, give me your feedback. What you want to hear, part two, part three, whatever. And also click the bell for notifications so you'll know when a new video is being posted. So before I get right into the actual story, I want to let you guys know that I do have a book coming out. This book, we've been editing this book, oh my God, for about a year. Since last September, we've been editing. Me and my editor has been editing this book, going through the book with a fine-tooth comb. So fingers crossed, it'll be out in 2022, hopefully at the top of the year. And this is what it is called. The Ministry I Never Wanted but Couldn't Abort. So that is my story of my journey through ministry. So those that don't know, I'm a minister. I've been a minister for about 20 years. Yeah, about 20 years. And this is my story. And through ministry, through heartache, through pain. And this story took place, y'all, in the church. In the good old church, honey. Yeah, but there's some stories in there, y'all. So that is going to come out in 2022. So let's get into this story. So it was me, two co-workers of mine, a male and a female. The guy's name is Mark and the girl name was Noelle. And we worked at Family Dollar together. This would have been in 2008. So initially, it was just me and Mark working there. And Mark was from Atlanta, and him and his family had relocated up to Ohio. Mark was probably about 19, 20, no older than 21 years old. Now, mind you, the girl did not work there as of yet. So it was just me and him that worked there. And Mark was a cool enough little young guy, and I was like the store mama because I was like in my 30s or whatever. I had just started back going to college. My first child was grown. And so I just had this little job just on the side or whatever while I was in college. And so time went by and Noelle got hired there. And so she was a cool enough little girl. She was 19 years old and she had a baby. I have a little boy that probably was like, at the time, I think it was like 2 or 3 months or something like that. So I'm like like I said, the mother of the store, and all of them came to me for advice and different stuff like that. So we all worked together. We was all cool with each other. We was all chilling out with each other, not after work, but just chilling on the job and working the same shift. So time goes by and Mark and Noelle kind of start liking each other. But Noelle was still dealing with her kid's father. And so when her kid's dad would call her on the cell phone, first thing he would ask her, where you at? I'm at work. And then, well, who all working? And she would be like, Sherry and Mark. And so one day I just asked her, I said, are you and the kid's dad still together? And she was like, no, we ain't together. And I was like, y'all still kicking it or whatever? She was like, nah, Miss Sherry, why you say that? Why you say that? I said, because I just find it strange that somebody that you don't kick it with, every time he calls you on the phone, he's always asking where you at, what you doing, and who you with. And I was like, so that to me is like somebody that is in a relationship. Because if I'm not in a relationship with anybody, you're not going to keep calling me every single time he called, where you at, what you doing, who you working with. She was like, nah, I don't like him like that. He's just my baby daddy, da, 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 da. I said, okay, then, well, that's cool enough or whatever. And so some time go by or what have you. And I find she was on the phone with him again one time. And then he must have asked her, who's working? Me, Sherry, and Mark. Me, Sherry, and Mark. That's all she kept saying. So she got off the phone. I said, Noelle. I said, stop telling him. I said, why do you keep tossing out Mark's name? I said, why don't you go around that question? Because he don't need to know. And she was like, I don't, we working together. I said, but you always saying Mark. You saying my name, but you You tossing out Mark's name. I said, and I know you and Mark like each other. I said, you trying to make that boy jealous? And I ain't trying to make him jealous or nothing like that. I said, okay. Then I said, quit playing with that boy. I said, if you still kicking it with him or got feelings for him or whatever, you trying to toss in his face that you moving on and things like that, that ain't the way to do it. I said, because he don't need to know who you working with, and definitely don't toss out no other guy's name. I said, and maybe he still like you or whatever. I said, because you kind of come off like you're playing games. No, I ain't, Miss Sherry. No, I ain't. Woo, woo, woo. I said, okay then, girl, whatever. So we continue to just work together, and, time go by. We work our shifts. We talk and we giggle. Some type of way. Now, this part, I don't remember how. Some type of way, it got back. The baby father found out that they were kicking it. They were kicking it, and that Mark and Noel was, a little couple or whatever, or kicking it with one another. So he got mad. And so I don't know if him and Mark got in a word exchange or whatever, but that guy got mad at Mark. So one day we're at work. I had ordered some pizza, and I told them, I said, hey, y'all cover the store. I'm going in the back to eat my pizza. And they was like, all right, then that's cool. So I go in the back, and I'm just sitting there munching on the pizza, reading a magazine or whatever. And so I hear her hollering, Miss Sherry, come help, come help, come help. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Is they getting robbed or whatever? So I run out, put my pizza down, I run out the back room, and I go to the front, and I see this guy on top of Mark, and Noel is on top of the guy. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I'm thinking, this dude trying to rob, the store. Maybe they tried to attack him. So Mark's on the ground. I guess she was trying to lunge at the guy, and she's smashing the guy on Mark. But the guy has a free arm, and he's like blasting Mark in the face. Blood coming in his nose. He just hitting Mark all in his face. So I go over there and I grab the guy's arm so he couldn't hit Mark anymore. And so I'm like, Mark, get up. We're trying to help him. So Mark's telling Noel, get off of me, get off the guy so he can get up, because you making me lose this fight or what have you. So she finally gets up, because Noel was like a little stout girl. She was a BBW, if you want to call it that. And so she finally got up off of him. I grabbed the guy's arm. Mark must have went in a rage. Now, pause on that. Mark did have a little attitude. He would be very nasty to the customers if they would ask him where the baby food over there, man, go on and walk over there. He just was real. And I was like, Mark, stop being mean to the customers. So he had like a little temper, a little temper. So remember that. And so Mark got up. Mark must have seen red. He didn't realize what was going on. There was customers in the store. This man come up the aisle. He called himself trying to help break it up. Mark must not have known what was going on. He must have been in a red zone, and he grabbed one of those metal things. When you go to the store and they have that metal thing sticking out and they hang like underwear up on it. It's at Walmart's and all of that. Or they hang up T-shirts and stuff on it. Mark took one of those out of the wall thing and started beating the customer with it. So the man like, man, dude, what did you doing? What did you doing? When I tell you, he was beating this man up 1 hour with that metal rod. So, and I'm like, Mark, stop. That's not him. That's not him. And so the baby daddy walked past me, and he was like, I'm going to get you. And I was like, no, he wasn't talking to me now. He was talking to Mark. And he was like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. But it was the way he said it. So Mark finally stopped beating the man. He calmed down. We called the police. The police came, and they took, the report. When I tell you the store was demolished, there was blood everywhere, clothes thrown everywhere. And I'm like, I didn't know who the guy was. And I was like, who was that? And she was like, that's my baby's daddy. And I'm like, so why are they fighting? He mad because I'm kicking it with Mark. And so the first thing I said, how he know you kicking it with Mark? I said, I knew you was playing games, girl. I knew you was playing games. Stop playing with that man. I said, I told you something was going to happen. I said, this is what I told her. I said, you going to get somebody killed. I said, that boy going to come back. He ain't going to come back. He ain't going to do nothing. He ain't going to do nothing. I said, he came down here, didn't he? He ain't going to do nothing. He ain't talking. I said, Noel, he said, I'm going to get you. I said it was just something about his tone that man meant that jump. So the police came and we took a report or whatever. I said, look, I'm going home. I said, that y'all two is in cahoots and I got that man stirred up. Y'all clean the store up. I'm not cleaning up all this blood and all this mess. I'm off, and I left. So the next day, I called down to the store to check to see who was at the store and to see if she was there or he was there. Them two both working together. I said, what? You at work? Yeah. Who there with you? Mark. I said, no, you ain't. Back at work with him again. Yeah, whatever. And I'm like, all right then. I said, y'all be careful because I don't trust your kid's father. I said, where is he at? I ain't heard from him. Blah, woo, 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 blah, blah, blah. So some time go past, y'all. I'm not working at Family Dollar no more. I lose contact with Mark. I lose contact with Noel. Mark and the baby daddy kept on feuding with one another. The baby daddy shot at Mark one day. Missed him. Mark retaliates. Shoots at him. Hits him. Didn't kill him, but injured him. So in the midst of all of that, Noelle decided she didn't want to be with Mark no more. For whatever reason it was. She decided she wanted to break up with him. I don't know if she was going back to her kid's father or what, but she decided she didn't want to be with Mark no more. And Mark wasn't having it. So Mark asked her to come over his house one day. And she goes. She go in that house. He want to have sex. She don't want to have sex because he was just being too mean. He ended up raping her. He raped her, choked her, beat her up. She ran out of his house, ran next door to a neighbor's house, his neighbors. Knocked on there, they let her in, or what have you. So she ends up filing a police report, text him and told him, I'm going to get you for rape, whatever. He finally texted her and said, why you tell the police on me, blah, blah, blah. She was like, because you raped me, woo, woo, woo. About 2 or 3 days go by. She at home with her baby, and she had a little, I think it's her best friend daughter. May have been her goddaughter, but her best friend daughter was there. This little girl was 3. Her son at that time was 9 months old. So Mark, when she ran out of his apartment, she left her keys. In between 2 to 3 days from that incident happened, I don't know if she called her landlord and told them, hey, come, change my locks. I got raped. I don't want to be, I need to get my locks changed. She never had her house keys. Now, they must have let her inside of her apartment or whatever, or gave her replacement keys. But the thing was, she did not get the locks changed. And so he come knocking on the door. He knocked on the door. He ended up, no, I take that back. He came in her apartment while she was there with her son and her little, best friend's baby. And she kicked him out, get out of here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Him and her go outside and they start arguing. And she got the baby in her hand. She argued with him, da, 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 da. She ended up going back in the house. So they stopped arguing. Few minutes later, he come walking in that house. He turned the music up. She on the couch with the baby in her arm. He shot her in the head. Shot the baby point blank in the head. And the little girl that she was babysitting was on the floor. She put a blanket over and he shot her and killed her too. Now, when he first came into her house and walked in, she texted her friend and said, "Hey, Mark tripping. He just came over here and let himself in." And so the friend was like, "Nah, I'm coming." She was like, "Where is he at now?" And she was like, "He gone." She was like, "I'm coming to get my baby." And so she was like, "You ain't got to worry about it, whatever. You ain't got to get the baby. He gone. He ain't come." She said, "No, I'm getting the baby, and you don't need to be there no how." But in between that time of him raping her, she was trying to move out of town. Noelle was going to move out of town to get away from him. So the little girl mama was on her way to Noelle's house. But he had already shot and killed her, the 9-month-old, and that girl's daughter. And so when she came to the door was a little open. She walked in. She seen Noelle sitting on the couch, just kind of slumped over, baby in her arm, and she had a cell phone in her hand. And looked, and all three of them was dead. All three of them was dead. And I had lost contact with them. And I remember riding the bus one day. I was on the bus. I kept hearing these people talk about, why would he shoot the baby? He ain't had to shoot the baby. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Because I didn't watch the news every day because the news is too depressing. I never watched the news every day. And so I'm like, who? They was like, yeah, up on Pendleton Street. He done shot the baby and da-da-da-da-da. Or 14th and Pendleton or 13th and Pendleton, whatever the street is. They was like, he ain't had to kill the baby. And I'm like, what is these people talking about? So I decided to go to the news. And I went to like Channel 19 or whatever it was and Googled man shot baby. And it came up and I saw Mark's face. I said, who did he kill? And you kept scrolling and it was nowhere. I said, oh my God. He killed them. He killed them. And he got death row. He's on death row now. You can look at the link down in the bio. I put the hyperlink, the link in the bio to actually not the article or either the deposition or something. But I work with Mark and Noelle. And he killed her baby, and a little girl. Y'all, I don't even know what to say about that. That one was sad. Thanks for tuning in.